Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. If you're new, if you're not new, welcome back to my channel. My name is Marina and today I'm back with another show breakdown. If you don't know what my show breakdowns are, I basically talk about characters of a show that I have recently watched, what I think about them, their events of what happened in the show, and then what I like and what I dislike about the show. And today the show I'm going to be talking about is Bridgerton. Specifically season 2 of Bridgerton. No, I will not be discussing season 1. I didn't make a video on season 1 because what's there to say? It took me forever to get into Bridgerton solely because I thought season 1 was just not good, at all. But someone told me on Twitter, someone lied to me on Twitter saying that I need to watch season 1 before I watch season 2. And I'll explain why I wanted to watch season 2 later, but I believed them and I said, okay, great. I watched season 1, train wreck. I know y'all were really hyping it up when it first came out. Some of y'all still agree that it's some of the best television out there, and to each their own, but I'm not going to be talking about season 1 today because season 2, they're incomparable. There's just I'm sorry. Oh, just a heads up, I didn't read the books. You probably could tell anyway, I did not read the Bridgerton novels. I kind of wanted to read the one based off of this season simply because it would have been cool, but I think there are 8 books in the Bridgerton series, 1 book for each Bridgerton kid, and I just couldn't do it. And I have a thing about reading books out of order. I just can't. My type A personality would never let me do that. So I didn't want to read the one about this season without reading the one about Daphne and the Duke. The Duke and I, isn't that what the book is called? Yeah, I didn't read the books. Maybe one day, maybe by the time next season comes out, I will have read the books, but I didn't read any of the books this season. So let's just get into it, shall we? The first character I'm going to be talking about is the Queen Charlotte. I think that's her name, Queen Charlotte. The only reason the Queen is in here is not because there's something to say regarding the Queen. She just sits on her throne and lives her best life and gives orders, good for her. But I wanted to talk about her relationship with the king. The actress who plays the Queen, she manages to flip the script so easily whenever the king is involved in conversation or shows up in a scene. It really shows her vulnerability, her rawness. Specifically the scene in this season where she was trying to get Edwina to marry Anthony or whatever, and she was being really hard, she was not trying to give in or whatever, and she meant business. But then as soon as the king walked in, you saw her something cracked in her persona that she puts on, and I love that. I wish we saw more of her in the king this season. I feel in season 1 they gave us a lot more king and queen scenes. I love seeing their dynamic, and I love seeing how much they care for one another, but it's just so sad. The king has dementia or something, so he doesn't remember all that much, and you see how much it breaks the Queen's heart. So whenever the king is involved, she starts getting so vulnerable around other characters and starts sympathizing in their situation. And yeah, just the way that she handled Edwina after Edwina helped calm the king down, I was just oh my god. It's those little moments with the Queen that I just really love. I love her anyway. I think she's kind of hilarious. I think she's fabulous in every sense of the word, but it's the king and queen moments that get me every time. Next, I'm gonna be talking about Lady Featherington, aka Portia. I think that's her name. But just to give you context clues of how how I feel about these characters before going to season 2, I did not like Lady Featherington all that much. I didn't between how she tweeted not only her own daughters but Marina, yeah, kind of evil sort of. In this season I kind of felt bad for her to some extent because her family is broke, her husband just died, she has no one to really turn to, and then this 3rd or 4th cousin comes around and she expects her daughter to marry him. Yeah, that's weird. So when the plan flipped on, like when the plan flopped and the fourth cousin Jack, I think that's his name, he was like, yeah, I'm broke, so like you forcing us to get married is kind of screwing us over. I was like, ha. Like, that's what you get. That's kind of what you get, because why would you force, basically she forced her daughter to make sure that she got engaged to her third or fourth cousin. Like, what? Like, I'm sorry, like Lady Featherington is a different breed of just crazy white woman, because that's just like, that's ridiculous. Like, I was flabbergasted, like my jaw was on the floor when that happened, because the turn of events, the switch up was so strange. And then later on in the season, she started getting feelings for the third or fourth cousin, and I was getting uncomfortable as it went along. Overall though, like, I think she's kind of an evil genius, so that's why I have to put her in here, because I kind of respect every plan that she makes. She's the only reason why that house did not come like crumbling down like in season 1. The reason why it's still standing in season 2 is because of the plans that she creates. Getting that man to somehow agree to marry your daughter while also agreeing to like be a part of like his mining scheme and planning that out so you guys can get money, and then somehow that involves you kicking him out while also still getting your check. Like, I'm sorry, I have to stand just a little. Everything that she did this season, I was kind of like, okay, I think I agree with that, minus like the somewhat incest. I agree with everything else that she did. Like, she's just a genius. And it's not that I didn't see that in season 1, because after, you know, her late husband basically like sold their daughter's dowry, she was already making plans back to back to back to get money back. So like, I knew that she was very smart in that aspect. Like, she's a quick thinker, she plans ahead. But in this season, it was like she couldn't catch a break. She was like, we can't be broke anymore, like this isn't for me, we gotta make a plan. And the plans she made were excellent. Yeah, that's Lady Featherington. I don't like her, but I have to respect her to some extent, because she's just too smart, running that household by herself. No job in sight, no way of getting money. Like, she kind of just makes plans as they go along, and I gotta respect the hustle. Next character we have is Lady Danbury. Another fabulous woman, another one, like a top tier fabulous woman. Between her attitude, her clothes, the way she just carries herself, like, I want to be like Lady Danbury when I grow up. Like, she's like the epitome of what I want to be. A fabulous Black woman who doesn't give a fuck about anyone and their opinions, and living her best life in her mansion, and just like having everyone basically bow down to her. Like, you would think that she's the queen of the town based off of how other people like look at her and treat her. So this season she's sponsoring the Sharmas, right. I kind of forgot that was a thing. Like people sponsor families and daughters to like auction off their kids and be courted. I totally forgot. Totally forgot that was a thing. So when the Sharmas came, I was like, oh, so that's how that's gonna play into the whole thing. I had no idea how Lady Danbury was gonna fit into this season, since the Duke was nowhere to be found this season. Oof. So when the Sharmas came, I was like, okay, this is interesting, this is fun. I feel like Lady Danbury kind of played the mother role when it comes to the Sharma sisters, even though their mother was there, but like their mother didn't really do anything. I'm gonna like get to the mothers in a second, because wilding, they're like all of them just terrible. But anyway, yeah, Lady Danbury, not afraid to put Kate in particularly in check, and every time she did, I had to chuckle, because although Kate is very resilient and stubborn and headstrong, she can't take on Lady Danbury. Every time she got checked by her, I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. I was kind of chuckling, kind of giggling, but it's fine, it's totally fine, because like, they're besties, her and Lady Dan. I think they see each other, they respect each other in some way, some light. I just think Lady Danbury reminds me of like a fairy godmother. Like, she's constantly helping everyone, whether they want it or not, and giving advice of some sort. Yeah, that's all there is to say about Lady Danbury. I love her. Next, we're gonna get to the first Bridgerton sibling I'm gonna be talking about. Let's talk about Benedict. What is there to really say about Benedict other than like he's artsy and kind of like the loner kid in the family? Like, I didn't want to, like, I don't mind him as a character. I think he's funny sometimes, but like, same thing in season 1. nothing has changed when it comes to him and his development as a character. He's just there. Like, he doesn't do anything except for paint, except this season he painted and got high. So good for him, I guess, but I don't know what to say about him. The only reason why he's in this video is because I feel like it'd be weird if I didn't include him, since he is technically a Bridgerton, so might as well. The only thing that really happened to him this season, somewhat big part of the season, was he found out Anthony paid for his spot in the academy, the art academy that he went to. I could have figured that out. Not saying that Benedict isn't talented, like the paintings he makes are very beautiful, but Anthony puts his hand in every one of his siblings' business. I could have figured that out. Like, I could have I think I did call that. Like, as soon as he found out that he got into the academy, I was like, there's something not right. There's gonna be a twist. And I was right. I didn't know what the twist was, but I had a feeling. I was like, this just is very random. But I hope that he's happy at the academy if he still goes. I think after that scene where he finds out that his brother paid him off, we didn't get any more scenes of him at that academy. So I don't know what's going on there, but I think he's talented. I think he's funny. I need them to develop him more as a character, because I have literally nothing to talk about. Between what he did this season and last season, like, giving nothing, giving very kind of boring white man. Next Bridgerton sibling, Colin. Another boring white man, but like, he wants to make sure that you know that he exists and that he's there. Whereas Benedict is fine hiding in the shadows, Colin is like, hey, I'm here, I'm back from Greece, notice me. And so he's in almost every other scene this season, which I have no problem with. I don't have much problems with most of the Bridgerton siblings. Colin, I don't know what to say. Again, like, these Bridgerton boys, they're just kind of just like, they kind of hide in the shadows. Even though Colin was there for most of the season, I can't tell you a single thing that he did that I was like, oh wow, whoa. Oh, that's kind of sad. I like him though. I think he's really nice, like a nice guy, but like not in a bad way. He's just like nice. He's okay. He loved his Greece trip and feels the need to tell everyone. Like, he did that for at least a good 4 episodes straight. It's just talk about his Greece trip. And I was like, I can't do this for another like 3 to 4 episodes. Please shut up. And he finally went on to bigger, better things. He went to visit Marina. Sorry. Saying my name in the video is so weird. He went to go visit Marina. For why? I have no, like, why did he do that? Who knows, really? I thought we left that behind. Because isn't this like a year time jump after the last season? I assumed that we wouldn't be seeing Marina again. The fact that she was even back this season, I was like, whoa, okay, let's not make this a continuous thing. And thank goodness it only lasted 1 episode. The whole interaction was just weird. It was weird. It was very oddly placed. Because when he came back from Greece, he was like, yeah, it was a great trip. I got to find myself again. And I'm just like, did you really? Did you really? Because if that's the case, why are you going back to Marina and like disturbing her peace? Like, Marina was like, why are you here? Why are you questioning my lifestyle? The lifestyle that I was basically forced to some extent. Like, why are you questioning my marriage? Why are you questioning the man that I'm married to? What is that about? And I have to agree, because Colin, what is that about? The whole Marina visit just kind of made me very confused. That was the only interesting thing that happened to him this season. Like, I guess that was to show like a little bit of character growth for him, but I just feel like it was oddly placed. Maybe he just needed to see her one last time to let her go, but I don't know. I don't know about all that, Chief. I don't like the way he spoke to Will in the 1 episode where Will was trying to help him out. I mean, I know that he did it because it was part of his plan of outing Jack's whole mining business shit, but please. I mean, I guess he apologized. He got people to come to Will's club. I didn't put Will in here because what is there to say about Will? Like, let's just be honest. It makes me sad too, but what is there to really say about Will? But I just don't like the way that he talks to him in that scene. Like, it made me very upset. But he resolved it. He was like, it was a part of my plan. I got the men here. I got the men in your men's club. Like, please, I am in your debt. So at least he's aware. Said he was never going to court Penelope. Oh, boo-hoo. Oh, well. I have nothing to say about that. I don't feel bad for Penelope in that regard, and I don't really care that Colin would never court her. If he was being honest, I don't know. I don't care. I understand why people would ship them as a couple, but also I'm gonna get to Penelope in a second, but like after everything Penelope did, I was like, does she really deserve this happy ending with Colin? Let's go to the next character. Let's talk about Edwina. Oh, one of the main reasons why I wanted to watch this season. Edwina, she's so beautiful. She's one of the main reasons why I watched this season. Like, my goodness. So Edwina, she wants to marry Anthony for what? Unbeknownst to me. Like, she's so infatuated with this man, and I don't understand why, but okay, sis, you do you, I guess. Like, every time she tried to explain it, saying that he's perfect for her and that she might love him and that like she respects him and everything, I was just like, okay. I was like, girl, get up. But like, if you're gonna stay down, then I guess you're down terrible. Like, there's, what is there to really say? Like, I can't help a girl who's this far gone. I don't think it's just because he's a Viscount. I think it's because of something else. But like I said, I don't know what it is. Like, every woman in the town wanted him because he's a Bridgerton Viscount. But she kept on like explaining why she loved him as if like there was this big reason, like that he's just like so great and whatever. And I'm just like, girl, okay. I thought that Kate and Anthony should bond as a way to get closer to to Anthony herself, and that was the downfall. Oh, every time that she tried to get her sister and Anthony alone, like, it was just more build up for what ended up happening. And I don't want to blame it on her. It's not her fault at all. Little did she know. Honestly, I don't blame her for pausing the wedding for like a whole hour episode, because could you imagine finding out at the altar that like your betrothed is in love with your sister? I would need at least like a few hours to get my mind together. She got hers together in what seemed to be an hour's time. Like, she's better than me. She wanted to make the decision of marrying Anthony by herself, because I feel like, I mean, it was said throughout the whole entire season, but every single person in this season was kind of trying to make decisions for her, whether it be Kate or her mother or Lady Danbury. It was like Edwina didn't seem to have a mind of her own. Like, the first half of the show, I was very confused about that. I was like, why is she like this? And then we slowly see it unravel after that whole wedding episode. Literally the second half of the season, Edwina like gives no fucks. It's hilarious to see. Like, yes, girl, you are allowed to be mad. Like, you are allowed to show Kate some attitude after everything that happened. She can be mad. I completely understand why she was mad. A lot of people on Twitter, from what I've seen, said, oh, she's being annoying. How else should she react to her sister and her betrothed literally like flirting behind her back for episodes on end? Like, how else should she react to that? I don't know. Y'all are very weird on Twitter, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm on her side no matter what. She's basically been told her whole entire life how her life should play out and who she should be with and how things should go for her. And I like how the second half of the season, she just wants to focus on finding herself, while also like finding out more about who her sister is, because although her and Kate have known each other forever, she realizes that she doesn't know who Kate is. She doesn't know who herself is. Her whole life is kind of based off of like this fundamental lie and misconception that they've been building. Like, I thought Edwina was a very interesting character to like unthread as the season went on, because she's got a lot of layers to her. Like, wow. Like, the way that she calmed the king down when he busted into that room was so gracefully done. Like, so patient, so understanding. Like, Edwina, if she's not one thing, she's definitely gonna be like the most patient and understanding person in this show. One of the best characters ever. I love her. Like, honestly, a lot of everything that happened to her this season she did not deserve. Like, she's so sweet that it's kind of like her downfall. Which is why I'd like I said, I don't fault her for being angry and somewhat mean to Kate and Anthony and everyone else around her, because what else would you do in that situation? But it seems like she might get her happy ending with the prince. I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent when it comes to the prince. I was indifferent to him last season, and if he were to come back as like her new fairy tale husband person for season 3, I'm okay with it, I guess. I don't know. I just want Edwina to be happy, whether that's with a prince or someone else or just by herself. Like, just make sure that like y'all don't mess with Edwina again, because every time a tear went down her face, a piece of my heart broke. Give Edwina a break, please. Let's continue. Daphne. Okay, the only reason Miss Daphne, the Duchess herself, is in this season is because I appreciate how she was reading Antony for filth throughout the whole entire season. When she compared what went down in the library between him and Kate to him finding her last season in the garden with the Duke, I kind of gagged a little bit, because it's true. Like, he doesn't want to admit it, but like the double standards that he holds for his sisters and his brothers is very apparent, and I feel like everyone can see it except for him, which is why like it took me a while to like Anthony. Even like in this season, like it took me maybe until like the second to last episode to be like, okay, maybe he's an okay person, because Daphne, like the shit that he does to Daphne last season, terrible. Like, terrible. So when she came back and was basically calling him out, reading him left and right, like I was just like, I have to kind of like give it up to you. I found her very annoying in season 1, but her this season, she's kind of just like there to help out. Like, she's like, hey, I have some experience. I'm the wise one now because I am a duchess. She didn't say it like that, but it's kind of her role throughout this season, just telling her brother when he's being an idiot. Other than that, there's something else to really say about Daphne. Like I said, I'm not discussing the events of season 1 and what happened with her and the Duke, or else I'm gonna get irritated. So let's go on to the next Bridgerton sibling. Let's talk about Eloise. Honestly, I didn't like Eloise much last season, so I didn't know how if that would change at all this season, if it would stay the same. I think I like her a little bit more. I don't know. She wants to be a woman and live her life independently, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, we get it. My thing with Penelope kind of read her, but like, I kind of have to agree with Penelope on this. Like, she told the other ladies, like, Eloise told the other ladies if they're so miserable to just say no to their mothers, yet like she struggled to do that for a whole season. Like, she recognized the fact that she was kind of like her mother's disappointment, but yet every time her mother told her to do something, she did it. Like, she kind of has this thing where she feels like she's better than most of the women in the town just because like she speaks her mind, but yet she really doesn't, because then why are you attending every ball, having like the name card on your wrist, if like you want independence and like you're not standing up to your mother like you're telling all these other ladies to do? Like, Eloise is just kind of just to me. Like, I don't know. I found the little relationship, friendship between her and Theo to be interesting. I quite enjoyed it. I liked it. I was like, huh, this is nice. Yes, give her someone else to talk to other than Penelope. Because it doesn't look like she has much of a close bond with anyone else, like besides her siblings, of course, but like, give her someone else. And they gave her Theo. I don't know if he's an actual love interest. Like I said, I have not read the books. I have no idea if he's like a canon love interest. But if he is, I'm excited to see that. I don't know which sibling is gonna like be the main focus next season, because from what I understand, each book in the series is about a sibling and their relationships. I'm assuming that's how the rest of the show is gonna be. I'm kind of hoping her and Theo are the main focus for next season. I liked how she was very upfront and honest with Theo, and I don't know, I like Theo. If they were to get closer, I wouldn't be mad about it. When it comes to Eloise and her thoughts about Lady Whistledown, I was like, huh, I found it interesting how she switched up on Lady Whistledown a lot throughout this season. Like, genuinely, I was like, huh, that's so interesting, because she was so into Lady Whistledown last season. Like, it was kind of her whole personality in season 1, her trying to find Lady Whistledown, her looking up to Lady Whistledown. And then this season, because she has to be the one that's being written about, she doesn't like Lady Whistledown all that much. Like, she realizes that like, hey, Lady Whistledown just writes about women and, you know, them being courted, and not about like women's rights. The whole entire relationship between Eloise and Lady Whistledown, very interesting the way she sees it. And now that she knows that Penelope is Lady Whistledown, she has every right to be mad at Penelope though. Like, I don't know anyone who would disagree with that, but y'all are very weird on Twitter, so let's just get something clear. Eloise has every right to be mad at Penelope, because Penelope kind of like ruined her family's social standing. between what she wrote about them in season 1 to what she wrote about Eloise in season 2, yeah, Eloise on her side. I'm on Eloise's side for sure, because are you kidding? I found her a lot more funny this season. Like the jokes that she made, they kind of hit every time. Yeah, I just hope that we develop her more. Like, yes, I understand that she loves being independent and she just wants to have some sort of freedom, but like every other sentence that she speaks into this show is just about that. Like, what else is she into? Give me something else. I don't know. Okay, let's go to the next character. Okay, so now we are on to the top 3 characters. Let's talk about Miss Penelope. Where do I even start with Penelope? She is such a mess. And since we know who Miss Lady Whistledown is, Penelope, yes, okay. Now we get to see the inner workings of how she did what she did in season 1 and the struggle that it took to like do what she did. And I'm just here like, huh. Okay, so you're Lady Whistledown. Like, this is the persona that you wanted to put out because you're so used to hiding in the shadows and no one listens to you, no one hears you, so you're gonna put everyone's business out on blast, but you're gonna do it under a fake name because you could never do it in real life, right? Okay. Her exposing Eloise, her best friend, for being a political radical, quote unquote, yeah. I kind of don't like her for that. I know she was doing it to save Eloise, but Miss Ma'am, let's discuss, because ever since season 1, she's kind of been preying on the Bridgertons' downfall to some extent. Like, everything that she's been putting out up to this point in the show has just been like kind of to bring people down. And I know that she took Eloise's words into account. Like, every time Eloise critiqued something about Lady Whistledown in her writing, what she wrote about, she always tweaked it a little bit in every single paper that she wrote this season to make it seem like she's not as ruthless as people might think she is. She meaning Lady Whistledown. But I don't know, to include the political radical shit with Eloise, I was like, wow, okay. Because I was like, wow, you're kind of like not that great of a person. I don't know. I feel like, I want to say if she just explained it to Eloise, Eloise would have understood, but would she have? I don't think so. So I understand in some, like, to some extent I understand, but my goodness, Penelope, like, she's kind of, she's very messy, not kind of, she's very, very messy. And it's shown even more this season, like the way that she writes her words and gossips about other people's businesses is like another level of just weird. Like, she does it so easily that like, headaches coming on. Penelope just gives me headaches. Like, honestly, every time she was on the screen and like we got to see her struggle with like her Lady Whistledown persona versus who she is IRL, I was like, why am I being shown this? It made me uncomfortable to some extent, because like she's around these people that she writes about all the time, like people that trust her and love her and everything, and she's like writing their business. I was like, girl, we gotta put the pen down real quick. We gotta stop the madness. Eloise is like your best friend, yet it feels like you don't really talk to her that much, like about your feelings, like not even regarding Colin, because her and Colin are just like another, it's just something that I really just don't feel like talking about, because what is there to talk about with her and Colin? Nothing is really there, at least on Colin's side, and it's just like this unrequited pining that's very, very sad, and I really want her to move on. So of course she's not going to talk about that with Eloise, but it feels like a lot of the stuff that she just keeps bottled up, she doesn't talk about with anyone, and you'd think that she would talk about with her best friend, but she just doesn't, between her own family problems, because remember, her family is still broke, like bottom of the barrel broke, trying to find scraps and pennies and cloth and silk. Like that's where Penelope is at the moment. But she's all, like, she's trying to keep up this whole entire Whistledown persona no matter what, and I'm just like, is it really worth it? She's making bank, she has her business ongoing, like people are staying up to date, like in tune with Lady Whistledown. It's not that I don't like what she's doing, I mean I don't, but like I respect it to some extent, but not when it comes to like outing your whole entire family's business. If you're gonna do it, at least do it up front. Like, at least be honest about what you're doing to the people that you're talking about. Like, be like, hey, this is who I am. I'm doing this. Because now you got Eloise all up in here, like she's being blamed by the queen for being Lady Whistledown. Like you have everyone kind of taking the fault for shit that you're writing, and now it's all crumbling down. Like you have no one left. What she said about Eloise and like Eloise always talking about doing something and then never doing anything kind of read her for filth, but she's not wrong. Like, yeah, Penelope's actually doing something about it. It might not be the best thing, but she's doing something. Meanwhile, Eloise has been talking about wanting to do something to stand up to the patriarchy for like 2 seasons and has done absolutely nothing. So, I mean, I've been saying that throughout the whole entire show. So the fact that Penelope had to be the one to say it, tragic, but hey, it's true. She's very intelligent though, like to pull off this whole Lady Whistledown thing and to still not really be uncovered. Like still no one knows who she is except for Eloise. Like she's very smart with the way that she handles everything, kind of the evil genius like her mother, but not like necessarily evil, but she like has like some internal issues that she needs to work out, that she needs to talk to someone about, and you'd think that that would be Eloise, but that's just not the case. So I don't know. I want to say I hope best for Penelope, but do I? She's very messy, but do I have to fault her for being messy? No. This reminds me of my whole Lexi rant in my Euphoria video. Like, yeah, she exposed her family and her friends for being like somewhat terrible people and making mistakes over and over again. But the thing is with Lexi was very upfront about like, hey, this is my play. I wrote every sentence. Like, if you want to blame someone, blame me. With Penelope, she kind of like puts everyone else at fault. Like when Eloise found out about Lady Whistledown, she was like, well, yeah, I wrote it. I'm sorry, but like I did something you didn't. Like, you guys keep making mistakes. What do you want me to really do about it? Like, I'm sorry. And now she's not. She said that she wasn't going to write for Lady Whistledown anymore. Like, she's done with Lady Whistledown. And then by the end of the season, she's writing for Lady Whistledown again. So what's the truth, Penelope? Do you want to be messy or not? Like, do you want to have the people around you, like, caring about you again or not? Because Eloise could just go out and tell everyone, like all of her siblings, your family, the whole entire town. She could, but Eloise won't do that. You can tell that she felt bad because what she was doing was affecting the people that she cared about. Like, it was affecting them terribly, but it didn't make her stop. I don't know. Penelope, she's just weird. She's very weird. Like, I want to feel bad for her, but why should I feel bad for her? Like, she kind of dug this hole for herself and she's not stopping. So yeah, that's Penelope. Let's move on to the whole reason I want, like I said Edwina was one of the reasons. Let's talk about Kate. Kate is the main reason I watched the show. I looked at that trailer and I was in awe. The woman that plays Kate, Simone Ashley, I think that's her name, stunning. Like like, wow, my breath, like, I was like, I will watch anything you're in. So yes, I watched season 1 of Bridgerton so I can watch season 2 just for her. I am only watching Bridgerton for her. If she's going to be in next season, I'll watch that too. I will watch anything that this woman is in, except for Sex Education. I found Sex Education so boring that I just couldn't do it anymore. But I will watch anything she's in. Let's talk about like Kate, the actual character, real quick. Bad bitch, a boss in every sense of the word. Like, come on now. I feel like Kate embodies every eldest daughter in every family. So I felt very seen in this because I am the eldest daughter. I felt very seen when it comes to Kate's character. Hold every burden that her younger siblings go through, has basically somewhat teach them and raise them and help them when it comes to like developing who they are in society. Like, that's what Kate was to Edwina, basically a parent, because her mother, we're gonna talk about the parents real quick. Let's talk about Mary, I think that's her name. The mother's name is Mary. Yeah, why is Kate raising your daughter for you? I know that she understands that Kate did this and she feels really bad about it, but let's just rewind it back, because why did she feel the need to do this in the first place? Where were you at? She said that she's been taking care of Edwina and like raising her to be like this upstanding lady in society for 10 years. Where were you? I understand that you were like grieving your husband, but like, where were you? Because you have 2 kids and one of them is raising the other while also grieving their father. where were you? Because it's kind of the downfall, like, of Kate as a character, putting Edwina's happiness over her own, because that's all she's known to do for her whole life, is take care of her sister and protect her. It's not Kate's responsibility to do that. I didn't put the mother specifically in here because if we really want to talk about mothers, like the mothers in this show, crazy. I have nothing really against Mary. I'm just kind of just like, why, where? Because your daughters, they don't even know themselves. Like, girl, Miss Ma'am, where have you been? She just wants her sister to be happily married to a man that she loves and who loves her back, and she's willing to do anything to make that happen, and I respect that. I love that. But the thing is with Kate, and I like how it was said very early on in the show, because I saw it in the first episode, she struggles to make sure that she remembers what her sister thinks she deserves instead of what she thinks her sister deserves. Like, I saw that in the first episode because I was just like, why are you picking men for your sister? That's a little strange. That's a little off. Projects her wants and her needs onto her sister. Saw that too, but they didn't say that until like the last few episodes. I was like, this is very projectory type of thing. She's all about like being independent, right? Wanting to move back to India as soon as her sister finds a husband, right? Very passionate about this finding your sister a husband thing, right? It felt like projection from the get-go. It felt like this is your dream and your sister's living it for you. Oh, Kate, I want the Sharma sisters to be happy. That's all I really want. It took a lot for Kate to be happy with Anthony, but we're finally here, I guess. She hated Anthony because of his like requirements to be a wife, which I agree is very outlandish. I'll get to Anthony in a second because I have a lot to say about him. But if we're just talking about Kate right now, I love Kate. I see myself a little in Kate, but I also I think she's beautiful inside and out. Like, as a character, like, she feels like one of the most fleshed out characters in this whole entire show. Between her and Anthony, definitely like two of the most fleshed out characters by far in this whole entire series. I like how she's not afraid to like view her flaws and understand them and try to work through them, because as soon as she was called out by whether it be like her sister or even Anthony, like, she kind of reflected and she apologized for them, something that Anthony just like doesn't do very much. Yeah, she's just great. Like, as a character, I felt like I got to know her more than like most of the Bridgerton siblings, which I had no problem with because, like I said, I was watching the season solely for Kate. As for the whole not telling Edwina that she has to marry a rich British man in order to get her dowry, that wasn't the best decision to make. That wasn't the best decision to make. Like I said, this is why I can't really hate Edwina for being mad at Kate later on in the season, because after that whole family dinner with their grandparents at the dinner table, I was like, wow, Edwina looks like a real fool, because Kate just wouldn't tell her sister the truth for some reason, and that made me upset because, like I said, I also stan Edwina. So whenever Edwina looks like a fool, I kind of have to pitchforks her out. Like, I'm on her side. She should have told her. That's basically, like, that's it. Like, she should have told her. There's no excuse for not telling her. She makes decisions for Edwina because she thinks that she knows Edwina better than Edwina knows herself, which I guess at the end of the day might be too extreme. Even Edwina was like, I don't even know who I am, but still let her make decisions for herself so she can know who she is as a person. Towards the end of the season, when things were really starting to like pick up and stuff, and I think it was the second to last episode where her and Anthony slept together in the garden. Choices, sleeping together in a garden. It was shot beautifully, but oh my gosh, I could never imagine doing like out in the open. Like, what happened to class, guys? What happened to class? But anyway, she felt that Anthony wanted to marry her out of obligation for sleeping with her, as if the whole events of the season just never happened. Like, I'm sorry, this is when the thinking caps just weren't on, because why do you think he wants to marry you out of obligation, as if he hasn't been like down bad for you since the first episode? Like, I was kind of losing it when it comes to Kate, because what are you talking about? Literally, like, I can't marry you because I know that, like, you don't love me. Like, for real. Like, girl, it's been 8 episodes of just slow burn and pining. Like, I don't know how else to make it more clear. I don't know how else he could have made it more clear. Every other scene that you guys are in is like with your faces this close, breathing down each other's necks and like saying how much you like each other. I don't know what that was about. Like, her rejecting his proposal that first time, I was like, girl, if you don't just take this man's ring and just go and be happy. I was getting over it. Like, stop it. Stop it. Not everything in life needs to be hard, Kate. Please, let's all just be happy. They're happy now. Good for them. Good for them. Maybe she'll like bring Anthony down a few pegs, because let's get into Anthony real quick, because okay, context, I didn't like him in season 1, so when I found out that he's like the main focus in season 2, I was like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. Let's unwrap this character, because he was wild in season 1, like for like a terrible brother, like arguably a terrible brother to Daphne specifically. But to see him this season, I was like, I liked it. I liked him this season. It took, like I said, it took a while for me to like him this season. I don't think I liked him until like episode 5 or 6. He just does a lot, and I understand he feels like he's responsible for the way his family turns out. Like, he has to marry the perfect woman or else his family is like gonna be in shambles. That's like that's his mindset. It's either I have the best wife or my family is broke and hungry. Like, that's how he makes it seem. And I'm just like, dude, you have like 4 other brothers. You have like what, 34 younger brothers. Y'all are gonna be fine. But he takes all of this responsibility and puts it on himself, and that's not necessarily his fault. Because let's get into like the other mother in question, Lady Bridgerton herself. I had no bad feelings about the mom, the Bridgerton mom anyway. I kind of liked her in season 1, but whenever we got flashbacks of Anthony's past and how his dad died and how his mom grieved over him and what he said to Anthony, like, I wish that baby killed me because I can't live in a world without your father. Like, you don't say that to your child. I was like, oh, that's why Anthony is kind of like messed up to some extent. Like, he feels the need to take on the responsibility and be the actual like man of the house now that his father's gone, because his mom kind of sucked at raising them for at least like it looked like a few years. So he feels like everything is his responsibility now, and the mom recognizes that. Like I said, the mothers for the most part are pretty transparent when it comes to like their faults and the bad stuff that they did. But my goodness, like, no wonder your son feels this way. As soon as his dad died, like, everything was kind of put on him. Like, as soon as his dad died, like, his mom was going into hysterics on the stairwell right after their father died, and everyone's coming to him asking, where should we put your mother? Where do you want the baby to be birthed? Should your mother die to have the baby live, or should the baby die to have the mother live? Like, he was getting asked all of these questions right after the father died, and I was like, my goodness, like, geez. So yeah, I understand Anthony better as a character now, which is great. Like I said, him and Kate, I feel like, are the most fleshed out characters. When it comes to like the Duke and Duchess last season, I did not feel that same vibe from them. Like, I feel like Daphne is just very two-dimensional, and the Duke was okay, but yeah, Anthony and Kate kind of outsold in terms of like an actual character growth and development between the two. I felt like I understood them both, especially Anthony, as the season went on. Like I said, it took some time, but I finally, like, I saw him, I see him, I understand him now. But yeah, could you imagine seeing your dad die via bee sting? I've never gotten stung by a bee, but I've never seen anyone get stung by a bee. But geez, like, your father's doing fine, standing healthy, y'all just went hunting like a second ago, and then the next second he's like unconscious via bee sting. Wow. Like, I'd be traumatized too. I'd be hard as a rock too. Granted, he says that he's like very cold and off-putting because he doesn't want his future wife and children to suffer when he dies. He wants to be looked at as cold and unfeeling. I was like, okay, but then how do you explain how you treated your sister last season? Like, I'm sorry, I can't get over the way that like he really like he treated Daphne terrible last season. That's something I don't think I can. I'll always kind of look at him weird for that. Even the way that he talked to her this season, I was like, why do you put down Daphne specifically? That's a little strange. That's a little odd. I don't really blame him for proposing to Edwina. I know I should, because he shouldn't have really proposed if he knew that he had feelings for Kate at that point. And he did know. He was just being stubborn, as was she. They're both very stubborn and hard-headed. But I don't blame him for proposing to Edwina. Because like I said, he feels that he's responsible for the household, and Edwina is literally the perfect person inside and out. So of course he's gonna want to marry her. Once he proposed, he did make things a lot worse for everyone else, but I don't necessarily blame him for proposing. I don't know. You guys tell me your feelings on that. Should he have proposed to Edwina knowing that he has feelings for Kate? Like I said, Daphne kept reading him throughout the season. When she said that he resents his family for all of the decisions that he makes in order to keep the Bridgerton name strong, I was like, yeah, why do you do that? Because I peeped that in season 1. Literally, like, talks down to his siblings, makes them feel smaller because he has to make decisions for all of them. But yet he seems to like resent them half of the time because he puts all of that weight and responsibility onto his shoulders. And I'm just like, why do you do that? And Daphne said the same thing, like, hey, you do this all the time. It's kind of sad. It makes us pity you, not respect you. Yeah, Anthony, weirdo. Just don't do that. Like, literally, you have all of these siblings and they don't even know who you really are. Like, they're kind of just like pitying you throughout the whole entire show. Even like your youngest brother sibling, like pitying you, doesn't really know who you are, kind of scared to come into your office because y'all don't talk. And stop being so cold towards your family. That's what made you almost lose Kate. Like, you're just so hard-headed and somewhat rude half the time. Do better. He gave that whole speech about how alike him and Edwina are. Meanwhile, him and Kate are literally the same person. Mommy issues, constantly sacrificing for their families, extremely stubborn, know-it-alls. Like, the list really just goes on when it comes to the similarities between Anthony and Kate. Meanwhile, Anthony and Edwina, I'm sorry, nothing. There was nothing there. Like, the sparks, none. The chemistry between Kate and Anthony was just like too strong. Edwina didn't stand a chance. I'm sorry. Love her, but like didn't stand a chance. I love Anthony and Kate. I love this season 10 times more than the last season. Like I said, it might just be because I will literally watch anything that Kate and Edwina are in. Like the actresses that play them, amazingly gorgeous. Yeah, those are all the characters. I'm going to talk about what I disliked first, and then I'm going to talk about what I liked. What I disliked, seeing so much of the Featheringtons. I don't care about the Featheringtons. I don't care that they're broke and hungry at all. I mean, Penelope is Lady Whistledown, so I figured that I'm going to have to see her a lot. I don't really mind, but like her whole family and everything, I was just kind of like, I don't really care about this. I don't care about them. I wish we saw more of the Queen's relationship with the King. Like I said, I feel like we saw more of that last season than this season. And as soon as they showed up in this season, like my heart did a thing. Like I just love them so much. Like a very underrated couple on the show, if I'm being honest. Like show more of them, please. Will was a background character. I mean, I guess he was a background character last season, but they made him even more of a background character this season. And I didn't like that. Like, yeah, he has his own like man club now. Y'all didn't really show it all that much. I feel like he was kind of just thrown in to be thrown in. Colin going to visit Marina, like I said, very strange how that happened. That didn't need to happen the way it did. It didn't need to happen at all. Let that girl find peace with her children and her husband, please. Like, Colin, go away. Okay, that's stuff that I disliked. It's a very short list because, like I said, I love this season, so there are more likes than dislikes. Let's get into the likes, shall we? This entire season was so cinematically shot that it was satisfying to watch. Like, it was so satisfying. That scene where Anthony is chasing after Kate and Kate falls off the horse and you see each raindrop in the sky as she falls, in like the slow shot of the horse like flying up, and like it was so beautiful. The ending of season 1 with the clip of the bee and then having that bee symbolize how season 2 was gonna go down, like amazing. I don't know. I really enjoy how the show in general is shot, but season 2 is just on a different level. Like they got that budget, they got that Netflix budget after how well season 1 did, and you can tell. This season didn't make sex a main topic of the story, which is great. I found it weird how focused season 1 was around the like sex. I didn't enjoy it. I found it very strange and not that important, and also kind of annoying. This season barely, it wasn't even touched on. It was barely brought up. getting to see more of the Bridgerton sibling bickering and conversations. I really adore when the Bridgertons are all in that one family living room and they're all just like fighting with each other and having a simple conversation. It's very realistic and sibling like. I also enjoy the scene of like no one came to the Bridgerton ball and Anthony called down his younger siblings and they all kind of just started dancing in this empty house with the Sharmas. I found that really nice. I don't know, I like the way that the Bridgertons have like this actual real type of family bond, and it shows in the script and on camera. The slow burn romance, excellent. I love a good slow burn romance. I feel like it's very rare that we get that nowadays in like television shows, but between Anthony and Kate, like it was so slow burn that I had no idea. Like it took them like what, 7 episodes until they finally kissed. I was like finally. I was like I needed it to happen for my own well-being, but I love that it took them that long. Like, because you can see the pining, like when they like inched their fingers towards each other when he walked past her, my heart flipped. Like it was so like the slow burn, the pining, the somewhat enemies to lovers. Oh my goodness, it was amazing. It was what I deserve. Like you got to see them slowly get to know each other and slowly understand their feelings towards another to the point where they were just in denial. I could talk about their relationship all day. It's just so perfect. I will root for any dark-skinned actress in general, but like dark-skinned Asian actresses as the main leads as well, like wow. Good for them. Honestly, like I love that. How about next season, let's make a dark-skinned Black actress as the main lead. This is Netflix I'm talking about. That might be a reach, but like let's do it next season. Let's run it up again, shall we? Being able to develop Anthony as a character, like I said, I loved seeing him be fleshed out as each episode went on. You got to see more of him as a character and like as an actual person and not just like this man of the house type dude. They didn't do it in a way that like excused his actions in season 1. They didn't, but when they explain how he became this person, I was like, oh, that makes sense. And lastly, I really liked the classical renditions of pop music. They did this in the last season too, like how they make mainstream pop music like into classical orchestra pieces and then they play it in the show. So good. It's so good. Like I really like that that's added into the show. My favorite ones were, they did Sign of the Times by Harry Styles. So good. And then they did Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus, and then You Ought to Know, classic. I think that is the end of my video. This is probably gonna be so long. Oh no. If you enjoyed this, thank you. Let me know your thoughts on season 2 of Bridgerton down below. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, it's gonna be right here. I mostly interact on Twitter, but if you would like to follow me on all my other social medias, they will be linked down in the description below. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye everyone.